Hello, all watchers. We are watching whatever. I'm Nathan.
Danny.
Today, we are here to watch The Glory, episode 1. Now, I've seen the show already. Danny has not seen the whole show, but we actually watched episode 1 and 2, and whatever happened, something went wrong with my computer, and the audio got really messed up. So, we're re recording it. Since he's seen both episode 1 and 2 now, we can actually talk a bit more about it as more of a kind of a review commentary rather than just a reaction. But follow along with us. Anything you want to say briefly about episode 1?
Um, I had a little bit more time to kind of digest what we saw, and I've been trying to think about, well, what are the producers of the show, um, trying to suggest, and what is their kind of like solution, or do they even need to offer a solution? And so yeah, I'm gonna be paying attention to that, and um yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay. All right. Well, remember to like and subscribe, leave a comment. We also have a Patreon, so you can go on there and join us either to donate, help us to upgrade some equipment and whatnot, or to go on and watch full length reactions to movies and shows like The Glory.
How we were saying how the credits are so epic, and after having seen the first two episodes, a lot of these images are starting to make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of a lot of those HBO shows like Westworld or The Leftovers, or even like Game of Thrones, like you said.
Yeah, I haven't seen Westworld or Leftovers, but it definitely gives me a feel of Game of Thrones. And I remember how we talked about Game of Thrones with their intro, it was relevant to what was happening in the story of the locations.
Right.
And here, all everything we see in imagery has a relevance to the story.
Right.
Semyong. I don't remember. I don't know where Semyong is.
Yeah, me neither.
That's a really nice shot.
In that spiraling down.
Yeah, it's amazing the kind of sceneries and the kind of footage they can get with drones now.
Right.
Do you think Song Hye-Gyo looks better with long hair or shorter hair?
I don't know. I prefer long hair, but I mean, she looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think she looks pretty good too, but I think I personally prefer longer hair too.
That's
I
one
mean,
thing I
I'm not.
like about Korea is
Hmm.
that kind of like old and new like right next to each other.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying that, and depending on where you go, you can definitely see that. I love how in the middle of Seoul you have, with all the high-rise buildings, you've got like the palace, you got that Hanok village, so you see the landscape of both. So kimbap. Oh, for those of you who don't know, both Danny and I, we actually live in Korea right now. We grew up in the States, but we've been out here for several years.
Is that CGI? Looks amazing.
I think that was just a pull-in drone shot.
Crazy.
악마의 나팔꽃이에요. 그 꽃 이름이. 저건 지상을 향해 나팔을. 혹시 기억하니? 내가 온통 반가운 얼굴이라
Oh,
오래 걸리네.
those scars.
여전히 예의라고는 없네. 남의 집에 들어올 땐 신발은 벗어야지. 죽여? 니까지 날 죽여! 힘 닿는 데까지 널 한번 죽여보려고.
Yeah, I like it how they made it an actual,
네가 오는 동안
like a physical person is there for her to declare her revenge.
Okay. This kind of reminds me of Old Boy. You know when they finally kind of speak to each other for the first time, and he's like, "Hurry up, Mr. Monster! Like, come find me or whatever," you know?
Oh yeah.
우리 엄마랑은 정확하게 무슨 사이예요? 우리 엄마는 엄마랑 잤는 줄.
This girl is like, she's a pretty girl, but at the same time, the way she's portraying herself, she has such a horrible, evil look to her.
화해하고.
I think she was definitely like a great cast for a younger Yeonjin.
Uh, yeah, the casting was good all around, I think.
문동은 보호자입니다. 담임입니다. 야, 교복 쳐입고 경찰서를 와? 친구끼리 장난 좀 친 거 가지고 신고를 해? 그 전화를 교감이? 엄마 아빠 외국가셔서요? 골프요. 그래?
Shouldn't like a cop at least step in and have said something like, "Hey, this is not just some kids playing a prank. You know, this is pretty severe."
Yeah. I feel like
없는 애 하나 어떻게 못해서.
In case anyone's curious, she's throwing salt on her because in Korean culture, salt is used to cast away evil spirits.
so she's like abused herself.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Right.
say. Would you say it's abused?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, she's
throwing
definitely
shit at somebody.
throwing
like,
salt
kind of-
on her. I mean, I could definitely see it as mistreatment,
Mhm.
and you know the typical older Asian style of child rearing, where it's a lot more controlling.
I mean, I think if we look at all that stuff now, it's abuse.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. In modern day term, it would be labeled as
Oh.
abuse, but in that time, it wasn't abuse where she was like beating her kid. Yeah, people don't mess up your kids.
이제부터 네가 고데기 열 체크 좀 해줄래?
Okay, so we can see here, even if she didn't actually burn her, she's the one who actually made that suggestion for everyone to do it.
Right.
And she told her straight up, "Can you check if it's hot?"
This is freaking crazy. I mean, I've seen this like 3 times and it still makes me so mad.
And Sara seduced the teacher for his keys. So we've obviously seen or gone through bullying when we were younger, but have you seen anything nearly to this kind of limit?
No, man.
나 머리하라고 온도 체크도 해주고. 그치?
I mean, anyone else? Ugh.
Oh, so she does do it herself.
Yeah, she did right there. That's
Yeah.
right.
I don't know. I guess I've heard stories worse than this, maybe. But this
Really?
is pretty bad to like see it, you know?
I mean,
It's like-
I've heard stories about, you know, especially more in the more recent times with like internet bullying and
Mhm.
cyberbullying, where it gets severe with as far as what they say.
주시면
But
제가 할게요.
I've never heard growing up someone getting physically bullied like this
혹시
to this extent.
피니?
Anybody want to comment below if they've ever seen or experienced any kind of bullying like this when they were younger?
전에도 본 적 있어서 그래. 혼자 힘들면 선생님이 같이 말해줄게. 응?
It's just hard to believe that it can go this far.
I feel like nowadays. Oh, no, I take that back.
엄마, 내가 다시 걸게.
Man, even her ringtone is creepy.
제가요. 전에도 제가요.
No remorse.
I was thinking, so are the producers of the show basically saying that
그거 아니었지.
like there's nothing anyone can do in these situations? Like the only thing you can do is like get revenge
세상을 좋아하는 거.
later?
I mean, is that the only thing at that point, I feel like that really is the only thing left to do. The police aren't helping, the teachers aren't helping, right? No other students are helping, so either you get away from it and just try to forget it, or you do what she's doing and work on your revenge. Yeah, she's saying that it's a hatred she cannot get rid of. So it's
Right.
not something she can just forget about. Which I understand. There's no way I'd be able to forget about it if someone did that to me. I mean, I still want to beat up the kid who didn't pay me back my quarter.
Like she can't even be safe at home, you know, like
The one place you should feel safe
right.
has been taken away from her.
그걸 다 합치면
She looks crazy.
She did a really good job with that innocent psycho look.
I don't know, man. She should have just ran, dude.
I would have figured out some way to lock them in there and throw some gasoline in and burn that thing to the ground.
스케치 좀 되는데? 넌 또 뭘 처먹은 거야? 한콜이야 본드야.
Oh, so she's a druggie from back then.
너 존나 부자.
대신 우리 술 마실 동안 춤춰봐.
So everything, yeah, like you said, everything that they are was since they were high school kids.
정 싫으면 다른 선택지도 있기는 있어? 너네 집에 이런 것도 있더라.
I would have grabbed that and smashed her in the head with it.
자존심을 세우. 다리도 예쁘네.
It's a crazy shot.
선곡은 내가 한다.
I just thought of the line where she says, "Your legs are pretty."
Right. And then it goes from like focusing on her legs and then shifting the focus to the iron in the foreground.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a horror movie, dude.
Yeah, this is exactly a shot from a horror film. That's what I would imagine. Seeing that pain on her face, her last bit of
Right. The
of
one
comfort.
person was kind of helping her and offering to help her. Someone who like cared, right?
Yeah, just gone. Nothing left.
I think we were talking about before how like for me snow is like this kind of like hellish feeling.
But it's supposed to also represent like a cleansing.
Right. Right. I mean here it
But
looks like
here,
I don't know,
it-
like ashes, like the world's on fire or something. Like you're just like in hell.
yeah, it does. It's weird how they did make it look like that. Because this is her hell.
This girl like went for it, dude. She did a good job, dude.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And that's not an iron curler, that's an actual iron.
I mean, these people are just sick. Like, you know, I hope to God, like, stuff like this doesn't really happen. But I know it probably does. It's awful, man.
Like when you were saying, hoping that it doesn't happen, it reminded me of stories I've read from like the Holocaust and stuff.
Uh,
The stuff that they did to these prisoners.
oh, man. Like those, like, twin experiments and stuff. It's, like, freaking awful.
Now this shot of her just laying in the snow, like, the heat from the burn versus trying to soothe it with the coldness of the snow. What did you say last time with this shot? What you thought about it?
Whose perspective is this, you know? I thought about it more and I was thinking, like, is she having some kind of, like, out-of-body experience or... Like who's watching her right now? Like us? We're supposed to be kind of, I don't know, detached and above the situation or something.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is supposed to, maybe partly at least, to represent us and seeing that separation of the helpless her versus the new her.
You think they got like a stuntman to do those?
I was just thinking. I was gonna say. I wonder what stuntman they got to do the snowboarding part.
Right. So snow for her is like hellish. For them, it's like playtime. Right.
Yeah, it's a playground, and for her,
Right.
it's just literal hell.
Right.
이대로 교장실까지 올라가면 김 선생님 근무 평가에 문제 생길 텐데.
Kind of hate this dude the most, man.
Yeah, because he's someone who could have actually done something.
뭐가 방관이야? 너 그 정도면
He won't take her side just because of who those kids are.
Right. And it's gonna affect like his career.
Mm-hmm.
그럼 선생님 아들도 친구들한테 한 대 맞아도 괜찮으시겠어요?
내 아들이
This is crazy, man.
The fact that they just stand around watching.
Oh.
But see, it showed, you could see in the brief scenes where they show her face, instead of a scared girl, she was defiant now.
Yeah, she's like angry.
Mm-hmm.
열어보세요, 어머니. 괜찮습니다.
So those were $1,000 banknotes. Because in Korea, the largest bill we have is a 50,000 won, which is about roughly about $40 US right now.
그럼요.
Actually, were they $1,000 or $100 banknotes?
그 내용도 새로 써주시면 됩니다.
Shoot, I wasn't paying attention to that. I just, in my mind, I was like, it's a lot of money. It's just
Yeah, I mean, either way, it's a lot of money. Most
Right.
likely $1,000. If it said $1 million, then it's $1,000 banknote.
혹시 몰랐어?
Her mom needs to be thrown off a building.
everyone needs to be thrown off a building.
연락 오겠지.
I think everyone needs a separate punishment.
Right. And that's kind of what the show is about, right?
Yeah.
Her one kind of like taking a stand was kind of just saying that I'm leaving because I was getting bullied and that got taken away, you know?
Yeah. Now they made it seem like it was her fault for
Right.
leaving school. She couldn't adjust to the school.
Crazy.
The things that can happen if you have the right kind of money and the right kind of people.
Right. And that's what I was thinking. The show is kind of about how, like, I don't know, like the rich people can get away with almost anything, and like the poor people are their victims. Okay, so she's been there for a long time. That's what this montage represents, right?
Yeah, it went from, I don't remember what season it was, but, you know, up through the winter.
Doing
Mogyotang, the
multiple
bathhouse.
jobs.
약국은 9시에 열고 한강은 20분만 걸으면 된다.
Shows a desperation when this is just become another option.
And this girl's really good. I mean, do you think like they could have just like had her play the character all the way through the show, or do they need like that star power?
Just for the show itself, they could have probably had her play it through, but to get the attention, right? You kind of need that star power, especially when it comes to Korean TV. What do you think?
야 어디가?
Usually, just to get like certain shows made, you gotta get a star attached, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking like how they went from her being by the river about to like, and then these kids, their luxury apartment has like a view of the river. It's that kind of contrast like they did with the snow, you know.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
나 초코우유.
So I heard what those kids are called. They call them shuttles,
Oh right.
like a shuttle bus going to get
Alright.
food and stuff. I think it would have been funny if they showed her a montage of like MMA fighting. Just came back and just kicked the crap out of everybody.
현모양처. 그거 진짜야?
Even her even her vocal inflection is like the adult version of her.
오늘부터 내 꿈은 너야.
Her eyes changed so much from the earlier scenes.
I mean, she gets abused by everyone everywhere she goes.
But still, this place must feel like heaven compared to where she was.
Right. So their hair, I never noticed that before. It's probably so we'll remember her later, right? Oh, she's the girl with the crazy hair.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, it does make her stand out, right? You remember
Right.
her.
What do you think is the significance of like working with fabrics and fabric dye?
You know, I don't know. I didn't even think about that.
Oh,
You have any thoughts?
no. I mean, I think like, I mean, I've seen this a couple of times and I haven't made a connection yet, but there has to be a reason why they put her in this job, like rather than something else, you know?
It could be, or maybe they just pick something where, because obviously they live in a dormitory,
Oh,
so it could be just a convenience of a job that you don't need a high level of education,
oh.
gives you a place to live in, and it's a manual labor job. Yeah, because I can't think of what significance it would have.
Maybe
가야 할 곳이 있어서
like
그런 거예요.
they're taking kind of like raw goods and turning it into like a product. Maybe as she's like studying and working hard, she's becoming like a completed like product or something. I don't
Yeah,
know. Is that a
I mean
stretch?
maybe it could be because then in that case it could be like any number of places. She could be working at like a jewelry shop.
저희 아 하나랑 따뜻한 모카 라떼 하나요.
여정이 쿠폰만 태산 드세요.
쿠폰 와서 어떻게 계산이 됩니까?
I wonder if I've ever been in a coffee shop and just standing in front of some girl who could possibly be someone I'm supposed to meet in the future.
um, have you seen the movie Past Lives?
No.
So there's this idea. I think it's man, I forgot the word for it, but basically it's this idea that uh, even when you brush against someone, like in like the market or whatever, it means that you've known each other in like a past life. And if you get married to somebody, yeah, if you get married to somebody, it means that you've known each other in like I can't remember, like 3,000 or 8,000 of your past lives or something.
Wow.
네가 제일 아끼는 고데기를 줄 거야.
Crazy. I mean,
Do you think she's gonna do something to the kid or
it's I'm not sure, but I don't know if I'm evil, but like I wouldn't mind if she did. I don't know
Wow.
the kid.
Oh,
동화가 아니라
are you sure you're not evil?
I'm just playing. No, I think I'm really interested to see how the producers kind of play this out. Like, will they take it that far where, this character would hurt someone's kid, you know?
Yeah, so she even has like a similar smile to the younger girl.
Yeah, that's good casting.
Yeah.
모두 안개 조심하시길 바랍니다.
And isn't it the stereotypical thing of the female newscast like weather person to be like generally they're like a very attractive person?
Right. Oh, she's got pictures of their parents and stuff on here too, huh?
It looks like it, yeah.
페어플레이 같은데요.
I mean, if you're going for revenge against someone, you need to know like everything about them.
Yeah, so normally like a shot like this is, someone we should be afraid of, right? Some
Mhm.
psycho,
Yeah.
like the bad guy, right? But in this show, she's our the character we're rooting for.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about. I mean, that shot right there, right? Light on the outside, but darkness inside.
Yeah. Earlier, I noticed that when she was at the talking to the kid at the playground, like there's all these like bars like around, but there's
Hmm.
kind of like this clear path showing her and the daughter, and then it cuts to her walking into her apartment, and there's like these bars, so it's like this prison, you know. And then here in this room where she's kind of built up. It's almost like she's kind of built up a like her own little prison with these like by this these images of the past or something, like kind of blocking out the light, you know. But
Hmm.
this is our main character. Would you say she's evil?
Obviously, I know what happens, but
Huh.
looking just at this episode,
Uh-huh.
she hasn't really shown anything that would make me consider her evil.
Okay. I mean, she seems to be kind of menacing a child, maybe.
Well, I mean, she was talking to the child. It's
Uh,
the child of the person she's trying, one of the people she's trying to get revenge against.
uh,
But she hasn't really. She
that's
wasn't
true.
kind to her, but she wasn't mean to her.
That's true. You're right. Yeah, I mean,
So, so it hasn't. There's a creepiness, but not an evil yet.
right. Going after someone like innocent would probably take her character to like a place where it'd be hard to kind of root for her all the way, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think she would be someone that we would probably, if that does happen, it would probably start changing our minds to where we don't really, we're not in favor of her as much.
Right. We would expect like her to kind of receive her comeuppance and her justice as well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I think so too.
Hmm.
So, all right. So that was episode 1. So, thanks everyone for joining us today. Hopefully, you enjoyed the commentary we were having. Obviously, again, we are new. This is our second recording. Well, technically our fourth, but our second recording. And we're still learning the ropes here, but we're slowly getting the hang of it. And, we want to bring you better content here. So, hang with us, and we'll see you in episode 3.
Thank you.